We are going live.
Yeah.
We are live, Jilly. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Hello.
How exciting. Here we are gathering our exclusive for Calm Birth School Hypnobirthing teachers, our much loved Unlock the Blocks Masterclass. So welcome. So amazing to see 7 of you joining us live. If you're watching this on replay, really encourage you to come and join our Facebook group, which you've also got a link to. Oh, hold on, I'll shut that down. Hold on, that's not going to work. Hold on, that's not going to work. I had YouTube on my phone, just checking out YouTube. I'm going to... Hello, everybody. Do say hello. There's a 10-second delay between us speaking here live in the StreamYard studio and what you are seeing in YouTube. So Urban Birth Plus, hello, welcome. What we would love to know, whilst we wait for a few of you to assemble, is where you're from. Tell us a little bit about you, how long you have been teaching hypnobirthing, and 3 words to describe your hypnobirthing business, how you feel about that right now. Do share. So we're really looking forward to getting to know you. We'll wait for a few to gather. This is our gorgeous Jilly. Say hello, Jilly.
Hello, Jilly. Yeah, totally prepared. Of course I am. Hi everybody. It's just lovely to have you, to have you with us. And for those of you on the replay, we work across many dimensions of transformation and change, and we create this space that you are so included in, as well as the people here with us now. It's a big sort of extension of our Naomi and my vibe all around you as well.
Certainly. And I'm just gonna put a caveat out there. I'm gonna be totally honest. This is the first time we've done the masterclass in different spaces on 2 different screens. We're used to presenting together. Jilly's down in Devon. I'm in Worthing, West Sussex. We normally travel so that we can present together. This time we are not physically together, but we are together in our energetic field. So having to pass between 2 screens is going to be interesting for us and you. It should be some comedy going on as we figure our way out through this.
There always is, though, with you and I, Naomi.
Oh yeah, it's never a dull moment. But we've got 7 of you gorgeous souls watching. I'm just going to quickly check and see that I'm getting all the comments across. I'm not going to shut that down because that's going to reverb all the way back. But do say hello. Let us know where you are watching from. Let us know how long you've been a hypnobirthing teacher, and give us 3 words to describe how you feel about your hypnobirthing business right now. And we are going to get stuck right in, because we have got an extravaganza of an evening to share with you. And we're so thrilled that you have made the time to come and join us live. If you're watching on replay, find the Facebook group and share your comments live in there, and we will hop in and support you in the Facebook group as well if you're watching this at a later date. But let's get cracking, Jilly. Should we do it?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Brilliant. So we are gathered here this evening, gorgeous hypnobirthing teachers, to talk to you about how you can identify and unlock the blocks to your hypnobirthing business expansion. This is an area of the birthing world that Jilly and I are so passionate about, and we cannot wait to share our personal experiences, our insights, professional tools and techniques that we share with our bestest clients. We've got them all for you. It's going to be a journey.
That is, my lovelies, it certainly is. This is going to be a very practical workshop as well, so just be prepared to work. We're going to be actually doing some practical work at 2 levels. We're going to also ask somebody, we're going to be using some EFT and doing the emotional freedom technique, and we're going to be doing a demo later. So if anybody is interested in bringing one of their blocks, which they feel as though is holding them back in their business, Naomi, what's the best thing to do? Is it just to put a note in the chat and then you DM them with the link to come in?
Yeah, what we're going to do when Julie gets to doing some of the first part of the practical, if one of you is feeling like, I would really love to work through this block live on this call, you'll be held with Julie's love and expertise in a very safe space. We're going to bring you onto camera. In order to do that, I need to be able to get the link to you. So we'll do that in a moment. I probably need your email address is best, and I can quickly email you whilst Gilly's chatting, and then you can come in and join us here in the studio. I mean, technology permitting. I'm not going to make any guarantees about this. We've never done it before, but we're going to give it a go tonight. We're all available for the magic.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be a very practical workshop. You're not just going to be sitting listening to us. There's going to be actually a lot of doing stuff in this workshop. So we have created this for people just like you. So if you're in this right space, if you're a really skilled and experienced hypnobirther who is totally passionate about making a difference to other people and wants to get to more people, you want to expand your business, bring in more money, more clients, whatever your thing is, wherever you're at, whatever your next level is, but you just can't, you keep coming up against that ceiling, you keep coming up against the blocks. So you're in the right place if you're feeling a resonance with anything that I've just said. Now, I know that many of you will also be really into the personal development stuff. You've read the books, you've watched Abraham, you've done the meditation, but it doesn't shift your stuff. You still feel, you can feel fantastic while you do that. You do your meditation and you read the books, but it doesn't translate into you behaving and being any different. And I want to say just a quick aside here, that's not your fault, right? It's not your fault. It's a mechanism that is active in the brain, that is actively stopping you from moving on. And these mechanisms produce a lot of adverse emotions. So if you think of, I'm going to go and do that live, or I'll phone that person, or, how about I go and open this or do this? And you start to feel, so you feel that doubt. So if you resonate with any one of those things, and I know some of you will all be resonating with all three, you're in the right place.
Brilliant. Welcome, Emma from Leicester. She just got started before Christmas.
Emma.
Yeah, so welcome, Emma. Please comment. We want to make this as interactive as possible. It feels so good for us to know, to get the feedback from you so we can make this really buzzy and really tailor it as we go along to your exact needs. So please use those comments. I can't encourage you enough. We love to hear from our gorgeous audience as we're cracking on as well. So what we're delivering to you this evening is incredibly high content. We are sharing information and insights with you that we normally share with our clients, our paying clients, because Gilly and I have come together with this shared passion to help more people who work in the birthing world to create a wider impact. And we'll come on to exactly why that is. We want your business to grow. We want you to be a success, because we know when you do that, you're going to go out and make a tidal wave of change in the world that the world is so desperate for. So yeah, we cannot wait to share this with you. We've also got Luna from the USA. Woo, woo. Hey, Luna Flo. Thanks. And we've got Josette from the UK, who's now in Germany. She's been teaching for nearly 3 years. Welcome. Come on in. The water's lovely. So, what are we going to understand in this masterclass then? We're going to take you through these 6 key things. These are Gilly's and my intentions. We really want to help you understand where your blocks come from. And it's far more than your mind. We're going to take you through the mind, body, and the secret source. We want to look at how these blocks get conditioned in not just yourself, but also in your clients, because they're going to be coming to you with blocks. Everybody exists. Everybody on this planet has blocks. And we're going to teach you really how to identify them and how to clear them as well for your clients, your business, and your personal development. And look at the impact that that's having on your business. And the result of understanding all of this is that you become 1,000,000 times more magnetic. I mean, hands up, let's get a big hell yeah if you would like to find it much easier to attract clients, much easier to show up, much easier to have a more profitable hypnobirthing business. Let's have a hell yeah if you're in for all of that. And we really want to help you revolutionize your business by doing business differently. So That's what we're here for.
You and me, Missy.
Yes, here we are.
So, well, about us. Well, let me give you a little bit of background to me, and then Naomi will tell you a little bit about her. So, I started off in the marketing and sales work after a degree many, many, many years ago. And then I just got a call, just an inner call to do something really, really different. I was doing incredibly well at the business. I worked for Reed Business Publishing, and something just said, no, 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 time for a change. So I retrained in psychotherapy and hypnosis, and just absolutely just never, ever looked back. It became, I feel quite emotional talking about it. Isn't that funny? And it just became my absolute passion, day after day after day. I was just seeing people's lives transformed because of the work that I was able to do. And very soon after I qualified, my colleague and myself, some of you might know him actually, Steve Griffiths, he and I brought hypnobirthing over to the UK. There'd only been only one person do it before us. So we were, if you like, almost the pioneers of hypnobirthing in the UK. Steve carried on Sussex Hypnobirthing, but I stayed with it for about 6 years, but then went on and worked largely now with entrepreneurs and professional people who want to upscale their lives. So it could be in their relationships, the relationship to their business, their work within the business, confidence, all those sorts of things. So that's what I do. And these pictures show a little bit of me. I love nature. I'm a real sprite. I love to be on the water. I love to be up in the hills and being with friends, good food, good wine. Yeah, it's that's just a snippet of me, and I absolutely feel deeply blessed to do this change, this transformation work that I'm doing. I feel deeply blessed. Naomi.
Oh, don't let that joy get out your eyes again, Gilly. She gets all emotion, peeps. It all leaks out her eyes. Watch out for that. Just want to say big hello to Megan, Olivia, so many of you signing on now. It's so lovely to see you. All the waves from Essex and Staffordshire. Thank you all for getting busy in the comments. So I'm Naomi. My name's Naomi Newland. I also have a corporate background, I guess, like many of you. We start the journey in a very traditional way, having the job and the employment. I worked in the sales and marketing for 10 years, one of the world's biggest brands, before I became a mother and then discovered hypnobirthing. I'm sure, like many of you, that was your kind of gateway into hypnobirthing, having the beautiful experience yourself. So I'm the proud mother of 3 gorgeous children. 2 of them were hypnobirthed. I started my career whilst I was still in corporate with 3 small children. So I understand exactly this space. But what that has led on to, this is why I'm so passionate and so excited. Oh my God, I'm going to leak the joy out my eyes in a minute too. That's why I'm so passionate about being in this space with you guys. There's so many synchronicities that have led me here. And it all began with hypnobirthing. I've had a 10-year history of teaching hypnobirthing, and it has opened up an incredible career for me, because I then went on to organise pregnancy events, which then led on to me organising Women's Wellness Festival called Breast Fest. That then led on to, a little bit prior to that, to training with Gilly to become a hypnotherapist, a psychotherapist, and all of these, learning all of this stuff and consistently doing the inner work has just led to this magical life. In 2019, I took my 3 children out of school and we went off traveling around the Greek islands with my now ex-husband. We've separated recently, but very, very positively. And I use all of the tools that I have gained to enable me to tolerate what's been quite a choppy few years in my personal life, but while still growing my business as well. So I'm really, really, really excited. I could not be more excited to be doing this, especially for hypnobirthing teachers, because it really has been the access, the starting point for my wildly successful, wonderful life that I've been leading. The last 13 years it's been since I became a hypnobirthing teacher. So yes. That means between Gilly and I, we've got 33 years of therapeutical experience. And I'll let you talk through anything there, Gilly, that you haven't yet shared.
Yeah, I think Yeah, let me have a look. I think I ran a training school for 12 years teaching people in psychotherapy and hypnosis, which I bring to all of our trainings still. I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of client hours over the last 21 years. So yeah, bring a lot of, and do you know what? I claim it. I didn't used to, but I claim that skill so I can bring a lot in my training and my teaching to people. There's insights there that you won't get kind of in any other books. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. And yeah, training school founder, course creators. We do a lot of work in terms of Naomi runs the More Than Enough movement. I closed part of my training school down so that I could concentrate much more on other courses and some new stuff, which was really coming through for me, including some of the stuff we'll be talking about a little bit later. But yeah, I think that's enough on us. Let's get to these guys.
Definitely. I just want to do a little name drop here because Gilly doesn't often take ownership of this, but amongst us all, we do have a shared connection. It was actually the amazing Susie Ashworth was trained with Gilly in her psychotherapy and hypnotherapy school. It was Susie Ashworth who recommended Gilly to me when I did my training 6 years ago. And I know all of you will be big fans of Susie at Calm Birth School as well. So we've all got a shared love for Susie. And Gilly, I know Susie very publicly credits Gilly with helping her start her journey too. So what a great space for us to be in. Let's get cracking.
Okay, so when we're talking about blocks, this masterclass is called Unlock Your Blocks to Your Business Expansion. Now, when we're talking about blocks, we are really talking about the invisible things that hold you back and prevent you from going where you want to go to. So just a small example would be, you know that you maybe want to niche into a particular area of hypnobirthing, or I was talking to the other day as a lady who's a hypnobirther, but she's also qualified as a doula and very experienced, but she has this belief that she has to get it absolutely right. She has to get it perfect. She has to do everything in a particular way. And you might look at that and think, oh, that's her personality. It's not a personality. It was born from very early days when she had an incredibly strict father, when she had siblings that were, more academically brighter maybe than her, and so she was compared, told she wasn't good enough, and so it wasn't safe for her to really express herself. It wasn't safe to make mistakes because she'd get put down. So these beliefs are very often formed when we're Tootsie. Up until the age of about 8, we're in what we call largely the REM stroke theta brainwave state. And we need to be, we know how much in those first 7 or 8 years, we just learn. We're like, you know what kids are like? They're sponges. They soak everything up. And we need them to be like that so they're equipped to manage life and negotiate life. However, they don't just learn to swim, to run, to do all the things. We also learn the things that aren't safe. Our experiences will teach us at that age small things, and there's obvious stuff, isn't there? Really obvious, nasty stuff, which will create that glass shield. It's not safe to. But small things like being a bit shamed by a teacher, the bully in the playground, not being included in the popular group, all of those things can mount up to formulate a way of being and a sort of a neurological wiring and firing in the brain. It's a physical thing. It becomes a physical thing, whereby when we go to step outside of that, so this woman said what she needed to do was start going live on her Facebook. She said, I just can't do it. She said, what if I make a mistake? So it was this block to her expansion because of her fear. And she kept saying, I don't know why I can't. I don't know why I can't do it. And you're going to let you probably, a lot of you will already know that. There's a very clear reason why your brain does not want you to go outside of that space. So it's why so many people feel a block, and this is the important piece to remember here, ladies. We feel a block when we try to go beyond it. If we stay within it, then we have the normal anxiety, the regular anxiety or jealousy or anger. But you try and go outside of it and your body goes, and it causes mayhem. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more later on. So should we just move on to the next one? Would you add anything to that, Naomi?
No, I think you've covered it perfectly, talking about why we get blocked, isn't it? It's because of the early conditioning through no fault necessarily of many very loving parents, of passionate teachers, but not realizing the impacts of their actions and words.
And I would just sorry, lovely, I thought you'd finished there. That bit delay there. And it just goes on. It's like a self-perpetuating thing. So we seek to confirm those blocks as life goes on, but we are going to come on to this just a little bit more. So can we get the next slide, Naomi?
Certainly, Jilly Juice.
So what I would love you guys to do now, just take, if you haven't got a pen and a piece of paper, your journal or a iPad or whatever in front of you, can you just take a moment to just get something that you can just make some notes on? Because I want you to we're just going to spend a few minutes now making a few notes for the exercise later in the masterclass. So if you can just reach out and get whatever you need to write some notes on. And I want you to start to think about what your business expansion looks like, your dream of your work. And some of you might limit yourself already and say, oh, well, I could never do that. I could never get there. I remember when Susie Ashworth sat in front of me as a student, nobody would have predicted the results. She wouldn't have predicted the results. And I knew Susie's dreams at that time. And let me tell you, they kind of stopped at Calm Birth, the Calm Birth School. That's what she wanted to create. And look what she's gone on to do. So if you feel as though you need to stretch beyond your own blocks just a little bit, just write down a few points about what that business expansion looks like. I'm going to give you a minute to do that.
Feeling into mine, Jilly. Feeling into my expansion.
Yeah. What does it look like? How's it going to feel? What's it going to feel when you're there? Write down the feelings associated with it. Write down what it looks like. The money. What difference is it going to make? That might not be important to you. Might be other things that are. And then I would like you to just start to think, what are the blocks? What do you think, bearing in mind what I've said, of these things we pick up through not just our early years, but just in print as life goes on? So it could be that you get anxious showing up for new clients. It could be that you don't like to talk about yourself on your website. It could be whatever you think some of your blocks are. Just write down the things that you think may or are getting in the way already. Now, I know one of you, sorry, who was it that's just been going for a month or so since just before Christmas? Was it Emma, was it?
It was. Let me scroll back.
You've only just started.
It was Emma, yes.
Yeah, it was Emma. So just think about Emma. Just think of, where you'd love to be. It might not be in years and years to come, but it might just be in a year's time. So keep it short term, if that's easier, if you've not long been going.
Getting lots of lovely comments, lots of people. Somebody else, Sadie, Jean from the USA.
Sadie, hi, Jean.
Yeah.
So I want you to think then, So we've looked at roughly what your vision is, put a few thoughts and ideas around how it feels, what it looks like, what you'd be doing. We've looked at some of the blocks. And I want you to think of one of those blocks or one thing that you know would really make a difference if you could do it, or you could feel differently about doing something. Or it might not even be an action thing. It might just be just a general confidence thing that you're thinking of, oh, I've got a bit of self-doubt. Now, obviously, with someone who's just started, there's going to be that anticipatory doubt. I mean, I remember, you know, my first clients and feeling that anxiety mixed with excitement. And I remember, you know, before my first hypnobirthing one, thinking, I'm really looking forward to getting the teas and coffees, and then suddenly think, oh, going back over my notes and so just think of one of the things that either you're not doing or a feeling or something that's coming up for you that it shows you that you're hitting that glass ceiling, that glass wall. Just one thing. And it might be the same as one of the blocks. Probably is. And then I want you to scale it. So if we take a scale of 1 being fine on the beach with your friends, and then 10 being feeling really, really, you know, uncomfortable, really anxious, or really doubting yourself, having a real downer on yourself, whatever the feeling is, I want you to just put a number of where you are when you think of doing that thing or feeling that block, and they might be the same. It's really useful if you can think of that feeling and associate it with doing something. So doing a live, or writing a particular email, or writing that book, or going into another area of hypnobirthing, or taking on bigger groups, or teaching other whatever the thing is. And so once you've done that, just give you another half a minute. And then I'm going to pass over to Naomi. So put that aside, my lovelies, and we're going to be using that a little bit later. So let's get on with the meat of the course now, Naomi.
Brilliant. Before we do that, just one request. Do we have someone that's feeling particularly brave this evening, who is so determined to unlock the block to their business expansion that they would like to come live with Jilly to take part in a live unblocking, let's call it? If so, comment here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to take your email address and I'm going to send you a link. It will be in about half an hour's time, maybe 30-40 minutes time. We'll bring you into the masterclass to help us show you practically how to unlock your block. So I would love one of your volunteers. In the meantime as well, please share in the comments what came up for you. Share with us what your business dreams and goals are. Share with us here in the comments what your blocks are, and what is the scale, how terrifying or confident you feel about making that change.
Let's leave them 1 minute then, Naomi. Let's see what comments have we got coming up. Let's just see what you've got coming up. So the 1 block and the scale. The one thing you could do that would really make a difference, and how you feel out of 10 when you think of doing it.
And we've got Luna Flo, who's a doula, putting her hand up. So Luna, give us, sorry, I'm going to call you Luna because I don't know your real name. Give us a little more detail about what your block is, and then we will pick which one sounds juicy for Jilly. Juicy for Jilly. It's got a ring to it, hasn't it? So do share. We've got a 10-second delay, so we might have to do a little bit of humming and a little bit of small talk. Jilly. Brilliant. I'm just going to get the next gonna talk to you while we're doing that. While we're waiting for the comments to flow through, because I know you're busy typing away to share with us. I just want to really, really, really explain why this is such a time for change. Be the change you wish to see. Doesn't our world need the work that you do, that we do? Never more so. There is a massive call for doing life differently right now, and the work that you guys do with parents bringing their babies into the world in the most positive possible way really makes an impact. We know doing this work not only changes that baby's life, we're creating a whole new generation of young people that will be the uprising to bring this change into the world because of the way that they've been birthed, because of the way these parents in the early years have been nurtured and held. Like, the ripple impact of the work that you do is phenomenal. Like, never underestimate that. And what we want to do today is give you loads of ideas and inspirations of how you can deepen the impact of the work that you do, client by client, baby to baby, mother to mother, parents, so that that becomes the norm to be able to move through life without blocks. Yes. So a little bit of feedback, because Jilly can't see the comments, so I'm reading them to Jilly. Lovely. Luna wants to engage more on social media, doing more posting, especially videos and lives. So that's a juicy one for us to get into. Luna, if you would like to, if you're happy for you to share your email address in comments, what I will do is then send you an invite to our studio, and I'll tell you when to click on that and come and join us, so that you can just join the masterclass in full view to begin with.
Only Luna, as long as she's just put herself up for that, right?
Yeah, she has. Yeah, she's enthusiastically.
Yeah, well done, Luna.
Yeah, she is. Emma's just sharing that she would love to be more confident to post online to promote herself. This is a complete difference to her day job, and she hasn't yet told many people about what she's done. So she's feeling very self-conscious about sharing, right up at her level 8 as well. So we're going to show you, Emma, how to bring that down and how to identify what's getting in the way as well in a little bit. Brilliant. Okay, so do keep sharing. If you're busy typing away, we just keep on sharing the whole way through whatever's coming up for you, because then we can help support you. So what we're going to do now is talk about the 4 most common blocks and the reasons why we see our clients getting blocked, our communities becoming blocked. And Jilly and I have experienced all of these blocks ourselves in growing our businesses over the years. So we feel you. We know what it's like to be at that beginner, to feel like the imposter, to feel like you're too busy to do anything because you're trying to juggle your corporate job and your family life. We've been there. Like, I understand intimately the space that you're in, but there is a different way to tackle the problem. So the first problem that we see our clients bringing to us is that when they're feeling stuck and blocked in their business or personal lives, is that they are overthinking the problem. They are trying to use the 4% of their conscious mind to think their way through the problem. Now, this uses the cognitive part of our mind, that analytical, decision-making, executive functioning, where we've all been taught to through the traditional education system. We've just got to think your way through it. Use your cognitive intelligence to work your way out of this. And so it is no fault of your own that you make this mistake, because think about the exam system that we go through in traditional education. We are told to prove ourselves through thinking, through remembering facts and figures, data and jargon, and then somebody externally validates whether we are good enough, whether our thinking and our cognitive skills are good enough. So we are conditioned to use our thinking to get our way through life. But what that does is very often keep us stuck and in a loop, because we can only think so far using our dopamine and our willpower to work our way through the blocks and the challenges that life inherently challenges us with. So sometimes you might get breakthroughs, but they don't last. And let me know if any of this resonates. Perhaps you find that you make some growth in your business, but then you kind of get pushed back again. You feel like you're doing 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I call it like the cha-cha-cha of personal development, because you're thinking, you might get stuck in this ruminating because you're thinking so much, you're really trying to hustle your way through the problem or the block, and figure it out in that 4% of your consciousness. Like I say, it's the traditional way that we have been educated, taught to work out life. But there is another way. When you begin to understand what we're going to show you in this masterclass, which is a completely different way of unlocking your blocks, you will then be able to access a level of trust that you have never experienced before. And that is a trust in yourself. A trust to build your business in your own unique way, without having to externally seek and look and compare what everybody else is doing. So that might mean going left when everybody else is going right. That might mean finding your own unique way of delivering your course, of selling your course, of marketing your course, of doing your personal development, because it suits you and it feels so good. To be able to trust that you are on the right path because it feels so good inside. And then what that leads to is more ease and more flow and more productivity in your business. So everyone recognize what I mean when I say the flow state. When you are in trust that you are doing exactly what you need to do exactly at the right time in life, you've got that inherent trust in yourself and what is beyond you, then we get more often into the flow state. And when the flow state is when it feels easy, that you're escaping the hustle, you're inviting in and you're following the good vibes. I mean, hands up if you would benefit from trusting yourself more in your business. Let's have a big yes, please, more trust, if that resonates with you. Stop second guessing yourself. You learn to trust yourself. Yes, please. Mm-hmm. So that's our first block. Let us know if any of you are overthinkers, if any of you try and hustle through by thinking your way through. Let us know if you get breakthroughs that don't last, or you're just simply not getting the breakthroughs. You stay at the same level of clients, you stay at the same level of profit, you stay at the same level of followers. Whatever you're doing just doesn't seem to get you where you want to go. Tell us a little bit more, because then we can help you unlock that block. Jilly over. Oh, almost forgot the little testimonial. What we're going to be sharing with you later in our incredible experience here is a method to help you unlock the blocks. And what we're talking about here is just sharing some of our client experiences of how I supported many clients, but this particular gorgeous client of mine was walking around with a lot of birth trauma for years. She was a fabulous mum, but she was carrying so much guilt about life not being, the births not being the way that she planned them to be. It was impacting her parenting because she was over-parenting and fussing and not feeling a good enough mum because of the way her children have been brought into the world. And using what we're going to introduce you to later, the magic of EFT, we managed to shift a whole load of historical trauma so that she could show up as the parent that she truly desired to be, full of trust that she was doing exactly the right thing for her sons as well. She's come along to train with us recently as well. So, it's been a very, very beautiful experience. Jilly, there we go. Now over to you.
Yeah, thank you, lovely. So just to give a nod there to what Naomi was saying, the first of our blocks is very much when we operate from our 3D conscious mind, where we operate from what is, and there's no expansion behind that. So we see people doing this all the time because when people are in that space, it's like there's no possibility. They can't use their intuition, their imagination, or anything like that. So,
Julie, before I'm just going to interrupt you. Sorry, it's a bit hard when we're on two screens. I just want to read out some of the feedback that people are sharing just before we go into block 2. Urban Birth is saying that she actually said about all of this to her friend. She's been in business for 7 years and she just feels like she's doing it wrong. Luna Flo saying she's definitely an overthinker. She spent several years in a PhD program and then being a professor. So a lot of cognitive, trying to think it out. We've got a lot of cognitive thinkers here. Now over to you, Jilly. Apologies for interrupting.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. And because our blocks keep us there. You're going to find one of the things about, I'm going to talk now, is when we operate from those limiting beliefs. And the thing is, they're flipping invisible. We can't see them. It's not like a spot that we have and think, oh, I better get some Dettol on my or salt on my spot, you know. And what happens is these thoughts imprint. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more a little bit later when I talk about the energy stuff. But these thoughts and our emotions caused by these beliefs, they imprint on the very building blocks of matter. And this is what creates what comes back to us. This is what creates our opportunities. It creates what we manifest. So when we operate from a space, so for instance, if you've got a client and they were operating from their subconscious imprints and patterns, they might come along and say, oh yeah, really, you know, have a fantastic course and it goes well. And there might be something about being in the hospital that really makes them anxious. And they think, oh no, I get really, if I could only be at home, but say they couldn't be at home. And what is happening there is that there is some kind of belief, early trauma. And when I talk about trauma, I'm going to mention that word a few times, ladies, but I want you to understand it on a scale. Trauma can be anything where somebody just doesn't feel safe. It doesn't have to be the high-end stuff that we don't need to describe, you know. Well, it doesn't have to be like a high-end horrific birth. It can be just something like a midwife not being very kind when she's upset, when someone's a bit upset. That still can imprint on our bodies and brain. Now, it's the same when we're younger as well. So what happens is your clients, if you do not get to those places where those clients are holding those beliefs, let's just use the word trauma, remembering it can be on a scale, which causes those beliefs, anything that at some point in their life didn't feel safe and is patterned in at a neurological level into their body, something wiring and firing together, which so they live life perfectly fine, think of a hospital, oh, it comes up. Live life perfectly fine. Somebody who's a little bit dominant, a bit of a dominant midwife, a bit of a dominant nurse, a bit of a, you know, not a bit of a sharp doctor, just doesn't quite say the right thing. And suddenly crumple, authority figure or something like that. So it can be, I could sit here and spend the next 2 hours talking about things that can make us feel unsafe. So as hypnobirthers, we need to be able to get down to, we need to be able to get to these blocks. We need to be able to do the obvious ones. Oh, I feel really worried about going into hospital. I feel really nervous about being a mum. So we need to get to those things. But underneath it, there's probably a whole volley of other things which can affect even your absolute best work. So the more we can get into those subconscious beliefs, the more that somebody has the freedom to step outside of that glass jar and say, for you, like Luna and Emma and a few people who commented, you can go and do that live and that social media. And don't get me wrong, when something's new, you still might get a little bit of a butterfly. But instead of thinking, oh no, I'm anxious, and it's stopping, you can say, oh yeah, you become more of an observer to it. So it's massively less because you've dealt with it. But it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. Come on, I can do that. Because there's not that overriding kind of fear. So every time you go to do your social media, every time you go to do something and there is any level of fear, it is an in-pattern belief that is holding you back, that is neurologically wiring and firing the minute you meet what we would term as the trigger, the environment, the stimulus for that thing. And that is why it's not your fault. I bet many of you will have said, right, come on, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this. Yeah, I can do this. I can do this. Oh, and you go into procrastination and feeling rubbish and self-doubt. And then you get pissed off with yourself and you think, and try again and again. And this cycle just perpetuates. So it's absolutely not your fault. It will affect every single one of us. And it affects, remember what I said earlier, it affects us particularly when we try to go into expansion or into a new field. So when somebody hasn't had a child before and they're nervous, that's going to show. But you already know that, but there might be other blocks underneath that as well. So the cost of it, of not dealing with this, is that you're going to be in exactly the same place in a year's time. Now, willpower can overcome some, but it's not going to change the way you feel. So I see a lot of my clients doing what I call hustling. So they will hustle, hustle, hustle. I can do this, and they will work their absolute little butts off. But they go into burnout and they're exhausted because the feelings are still rising, but their will try to override it. So you never get the flow of energy. You never get the flow, the co-creative forces of the universe helping you to reach those desires. So when we overcome our blocks, now I just want to add something in here that I think it is impossible, unless you're Jesus or somebody or a guru, a really someone like with Jesus consciousness or the Gandhi consciousness, to get rid of all of your blocks. Now, because they are, every time we go into expanding to bring in more money, I see people have brilliant 2 or 3 months, and then what will happen is they will crash their earnings and say, "Oh, Jilly, what did I do? I'm coming to see you because I was doing so well." And that's because there's the self-doubt. So what we have to do is, when someone's going into wanting to expand, we have to make sure that we keep those channels open, and then you can go into the space where you can go beyond whatever you have done before in whatever area you are desiring to make that change.
Beautiful.
Move on to the testimonial I think we've got coming up, there, Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the lady that I worked with. She had it was going to be a home birth, and really nervous midwife, fairly new midwife on the block, and she called an ambulance and probably didn't tell them. Anyway, it was horrendous. Went in, everything slowed right down. She had a terrible time. Nurses were horrific in hospital. Screamed at her because she wasn't on time to pick her baby up for feed. I mean, just horrendous. And she came to me and she looked horrific, absolutely horrendous. And over about 3 sessions, we lifted the trauma that had been imprinted. But interestingly enough, a lot of that trauma was also very much related to her early years as well. So it can, rise, and it can make us more susceptible to things a little bit later on. Not exclusively by means, but can make us a bit more susceptible. So over to you, Naomi, for the third one.
Just going to read some comments. We've got Birthbod, who was resonating with the overthinking. She feels like she's a rabbit in the headlights, just too much, and then doesn't do anything. So then the procrastination kicks in. We've got Anne resonating with the imposter syndrome, feeling like everybody knows so much now due to the internet as well. So nothing beats that personal touch though, Anne. Nothing beats that personal.
And both of those things, Naomi, they're both going to be caused by our limiting beliefs, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. The glass shield, indeed.
Yeah.
So block 3, this is where we start diving a bit deeper into how we get blocked. And what block number 3 is having only a head up approach to your work, or my clients only having a head up approach, where they're really, really focused on everything that goes on in the brain. For a very, very long time, the brain's been given the credit as being the body is the robot, kind of a slave to the brain. But what we know now, well, I'll come on to what we know now in a minute, actually. Let's talk about what it looks like when we overlook the body. We end up with repeated patterns and cycles because we're doing all the work in the mind, we're doing all the beautiful hypnosis, we're doing all the lovely counseling and coaching, but we're overlooking the wisdom that is stored within the body. And so when we think the thoughts and the body responds, it's almost like our psychology becomes our physiology. So unless we start working with the body, we are losing all of this infinite wisdom that is stored within the body. So you will be doing breath work as hypnobirthing teachers, but there is this somatic level of release because all of our emotions and all of our blocks get stored also within the body. They're not just within the mind. So when we begin to recognize that actually what modern cutting edge science is showing now, that 80% of data is flowing upwards to the brain. So it's coming from the infinite wisdom of the body. The body never lies. From the heart, from the gut, from our energy systems within, which Gilly's going to talk you through. We start to recognize it's an 80% upward flow, not downward flow of communication. We start to be able to tap into infinite wisdom. Now, if we don't recognize this and we stay stuck with the head up approach, we can have continued anxieties and continued stress, decreased immune systems, because we're completely overlooking the power of the nervous system and what it means to better regulate the nervous system so that change work sticks. I don't know if any of you have ever undergone any kind of personal development and you feel like you're getting there, you're making the changes, but they don't last. You kind of slip back into the old patterns. And that's because we're not clearing them from the body. We're only doing the work in the head. So let me know if that resonates with any of you, that you feel like all of the work that you do, whether it's on yourself and your personal development, doing the podcast, maybe doing all the courses, cramming in all the information you possibly can. Underneath that, that is that not good enough wound as well. Like I need all the information to prove that I am. And when we really tap into the wisdom that the body has, we begin to access this embodied piece of our work. When we are walking the talk, because we're clearing up our own blocks, the work that we're asking our clients to do, to recognize their fears, release their fears. Are you doing that too in all areas of your life? That's the question. Are you embodying, like truly in your body, in the work that you do and the way you live your life, what you're asking your clients to do, so that you're in alignment with your messaging and you're being true to the work that you've been brought here to do? So embodiment, when you get embodied, you find that you're able to stretch yourself beyond those limits. You'll find that you develop so much more self-compassion for yourself and you become a much more effective practitioner because you are your work. You're embodying the work. Brilliant. So let's have a look at a testimonial here. Talking about this gorgeous client. What we're going to introduce you to in a moment is so much more about birth, because clients bring to you, clients have got all these facets of blocks, around bereavements and anxieties and upsets and traumas that they've experienced for all of their life, but it's all going to come to the head on the birthing day. And so being able to clear bereavement, trauma, helping shift the symptoms that cause anxiety, that have caused low self-esteem, really, really is going to take your clients on such an even deeper, powerful, like we love what hypnobirthing does, but there's another depth that you can add to your work by helping your clients clear these invisible blocks across all of these levels. So it's powerful stuff that you're doing here. Luna and Olivia are both resonating absolutely with that head up approach as well. So over to you, Gilly, for the fourth block.
Yeah. Oh, we could do a whole weekend on this one, couldn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, the energy work, when we don't pay attention to the energy work. And what do we mean by that? Well, we may, we know we've got a physical body, we've got hands and bones and muscles and organs, but what we know, and this is the great thing about leading edge quantum science now, and well, I don't say quantum science, but even medical science, they know that beyond the muscle, there's atoms. Beyond the atoms, there's molecules, and molecules, and we've got atoms, we've got subatomic particles, and they keep finding these new particles, smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. And what holds the whole fabric together is just space. Now, we are not going to go into all of that today, but the reason why I bring it in is because we are connected to a quantum field. We are connected to a field of energy all around us, and there is no separation from that field to us, and we channel this energy in our body, but we also code it, and this is important, we code it with our thoughts and emotions. And what they know now from really high frequency, very, very clever machinery and the very, very new electroencephalograms, which work actually off the head to see what's happening in the brain. Yeah, our thoughts go further than our skull. Who would have known? And what happens is that our thoughts seem to send the signal out, and the way that we feel, our emotions, seem to draw the experiences back in. And our thoughts and emotions together are enormously powerful. However, if we have a block, so say, for instance, you don't feel good enough, or like the lady I was talking about earlier who wanted to go in and just put herself out there more as a doula than a hypnobirth, and as a hypnobirther, but bring in the doula work as well. She could not afford to get it wrong. She felt in her very being she could not get it wrong. And so what happened? She wouldn't do it. She couldn't do it because the energy of her field and the physicality of the way that her brain was working was holding her back. And what happens? We keep imprinting the same thing. We keep imprinting the same thoughts. We have the same experiences. Doesn't matter if we move to the other side of the world, we still meet that difficult person. We still have that experience there because we are resonating within that energy field. How do we do that? We have an energy body. I'm not going to talk about that loads today, but we have meridians and chakra points. It's almost like they're train lines coming into central points and through central points. And what we know is when we look at these energy lines, again, certain machinery and things will pick them up, but they have what we call a frequency. Now, when we just stick with our head and what we know and the reality, and we do not tune into our hearts, really listen to our intuition, follow what Naomi just a moment ago was talking about, the intelligence of the body. Your body's innate intelligence, particularly through the heart, is so incredibly powerful. We call it our first brain. This one first, stomach, and then third, 3 brains that we have. And our heart emits an energy all around us, which will, again, people will feel. So if when you don't do the energy, when you don't do the change the way that you think, you don't change the way that you feel, to the things that we've talked about, the body stays the same and our energy field stays the same. So we keep repeating the same things. We still call in the same sort of life. We still will call in the same level of money in our life. We will still call in the particular types of relationships. And most people will see that stuff as, oh no, it's happened again, and oh no, that's not going to work, and oh God, the frustration, the self-doubt, oh, I'm so stupid, why can't I? And actually, when we start to do the energy work, when we start to bring in all the things that Naomi and I have talked about, tuning into ourselves, the more clear we can be, the more we can tune into what we truly, truly desire, not what our ego wants. Because we can go, yeah, I want that amount of money, I want that sort of boyfriend or girlfriend, I want that, that's what. But it can be all ego, stuff to keep us safe. And when we manage to work with that, what we get is just the most delicious, freeing, beautiful sense of flow. Will we never meet another problem again? Of course we will. But we have the skills and tools to begin to work with it. And that brings us to that space of self-mastery, where we can see emotions not as something that we sink into and stay in for days and days, but we have this energy, and we can be in touch with who we really are and be able to observe our emotions more as feedback and information on the work that we need to do. Yeah. So yeah, I work with a lot of people, and yeah, that's just a couple of testimonials there. But one in particular, I mean, I just will work with energy all the time. So girls, if you ever, if ever you go in and see a client and you feel drained afterwards, that is not because you've given everything, and I'm sure you have, but it's because your field isn't protected, or you're feeling as though you're giving too much, and so other people will drain you. There's so many examples of where, sensitive, caring, beautiful people, I'm sure like yourselves here, you wouldn't be doing this work if you weren't that sort of person, just lose energy very, very quickly. And that's very quickly turned around with the work that we do. Definitely. Over to you, girl.
Okie dokie. So what I'm going to do now is, she says,
gives me a minute
with these, pop you there, because we're coming on. That is our, oh no, do you know what? Hold on. I've got one more slide. Yeah, it's going to summarize where we are with our 4 blocks. So when Gilly and I, when any of our clients begin to unlock these 4 layers of blocks and how they show up in our lives, what we get is a magical combination of increased trust. We begin to access true limitlessness, but please be aware you still can take action even when you have limits. And we start to embody our message, our work, by really tuning into the infinite wisdom that our body holds. And we add in this element of self-mastery. This is where we develop that pure magnetism that Gilly began to reference as well. When people feel your energy and they just want to work with you because of your truth, your authenticity. I hate that word authenticity. We keep trying to think of a better word for it, but it is being more true to yourself, showing up in your fullness, unashamedly, doing the work, putting yourself out there in the way that suits you best, without worrying about people judging you, without externalizing, because you know that you are a magnet for exactly the right clients that need to come and work with you, that you get to work. And then you get to do your most powerful work because you're attracting exactly the right people, because you're being true and honest to your vibe. You're getting the true and honest tribe that suits you. And that's where business becomes so joyful and effortless, and those clients just drop in from the sky. I love it when a client drops in from the sky completely unexpectedly, because they've just resonated with one of your posts or one of your emails or one of your workshops, one of the masterclasses you did, one of the ways you show up, or just meeting someone in the supermarket, and you get those magical moments. Like, I love it when that happens, and I wish for all of you to experience that en masse more regularly, and that comes from your heart energy. We could talk about heart energy all day long, couldn't we, Gilly? But we are going to skip on. What we need to do next is Luna. Well, it was Luna, wasn't it, who was volunteering herself? I need your email address. Was it Luna?
I don't know. Luna and Emma, or I don't know.
Who was our brave one? Yes, it was Luna. I need your email address. Perhaps if you are close to your emails, you could email me and I can just hit return. If you don't want to share it properly on the chat here, either put it in the chat or email me, Naomi, Naomi, at, oh, my email's a bit dodgy sometimes, Jill, isn't it? Oh, let's see if she's responding.
It'll be fine. It's fine most of the time. It's just
okay. Yeah, my email address is Naomi at Newland, NEWLAND.com. Let's try that way, and I will try and get you onto the screen while Gilly takes us through this next section. But Luna, I'm still not quite sure what your real name is, but we would love you to come and join us here in the studio in about 10-15 minutes. But I want to send you the link while Gilly's chatting, so I can just request your email address so I can send you the link that you need to come into the studio. Gilly, are you ready for part 3?
We are. Yes, me and all the ones that are around me here. Okay, so Naomi has talked there. Thanks, Naomi. about the way that when we are when we've cleared a lot of our blocks, not when I say a lot of them, it goes in stages, right? When we're cleared to the next piece, what we do is we up our vibration. And people, we are all really hardwired to know the truth. We have to, right from, centuries and millennium ago, as a species, we've had to know when something isn't right. And if you are acting just from the blocks, and we know the reasons why, because we don't always see them, we don't know how to get over them, then what will happen is people will feel that. I know that when I started, I came from a professional corporate background, and I thought that's how I had to be when I was doing any of my media. Guess what? It just flopped. I get loads of referrals from clients that come see me, but nothing from my social media. I'm going back a long time now. And it was only when someone said to me, "Jill, you're so funny. You've got such a fantastic sense of humour. So why don't you just bring that in? Why don't you just, kind of bring more of you in it?" And when I started bringing that in, I could never have done what I doing now. Never. See my first video that I did about 15 years ago. Oh my God. Honestly, girls, you'd wet yourself laughing. It's just so. But anyway, I've come a long way since then. So this level of frequency is really important, not just for ourselves when we want to expand. So as we start to understand things in a different way by becoming more of a dispassionate observer to things, I could just talk so much about the things that raise our vibration. But what happens is that our clients, we start to draw in the clients that are a match for that. Very often when I've drawn in a client, or I'm on a clarity call with somebody and I've pulled in somebody that just doesn't feel a match for me, it will be following a time when I've been really tired or been not kind of like looking after myself maybe as well as I could have done. And that will bring in that sort of client. So we know that our emotional frequency is really relevant to what we draw in life. And so the more up the scale I go, the more I draw in those clients that are an exact match for me. So it's not just client relationships, but all relationships as well. So I think there's one more slide, is the triangle slide, Naomi. So when we are looking at the work that you do, we are really looking at the 3 levels of trauma. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the emotional freedom technique in just a moment. And I think we're going to be running about 7 or 8, maybe even 10 minutes late, girls. I'm really sorry about that. But I hope you'll be able to stay with us. If not, you can catch the end in the replay. So there are 3 types of trauma that we're going to be talking to you about the emotional freedom technique in just a moment. So the invisible trauma. So, sorry, let's start at the bottom one first, the presenting trauma. It's really obvious, that you see a person and they went into labour fine and they come out and they can't connect to their baby. They're just feeling all over the place. They're just crying all the time. But it's something beyond that sort of postpartum sort of hormonal, the rise in hormones. So, yes, Ilana, it was the Naomi at naominewland.com. Oh, that's Naomi's written that. And what happens, it's fairly obvious. So you can use the emotional freedom technique, which I'm going to teach you in a minute, to help work with that. We will deal with the micro traumas. So those are the traumas that, they're smaller things, but we know that they're there because there's an obvious wall, there's an obvious something which gets in our way. So what happens is that you'll get somebody who is feeding, and so a breastfeeding specialist might know that it's just something not right. The lady maybe hasn't got very much confidence or whatever, and that can be down to whenever she's tried to do something new when she was younger, or she's got a history of being sort of put down or not, and stuff like that. So these things They're very obvious in their presentation. And then what we call the invisible traumas, which are from past events that we might not even recall, or if we do, we don't associate with the problem. And I remember distinctly working with my hypnobirthing with a lady who was just, her and her husband were just the ideal dreamboat clients. They were wonderful. And what happened was that I did the final session just with her, and I just knew in my guts it wasn't right. There was just something. She asked how she was feeling. Yeah, fine. And so then I asked a series of questions because I knew. And what we discovered is she was really worried about being a mother because her own mother was an absolute narcissist, a really, really, really difficult, unkind, terribly unkind woman. And she was frightened she was going to turn out like her. So we were able to do the work. And of course, she had the most wonderful birth and was a lovely mummy. So should we do the EFT bit then now, Naomi? So what I'm going to do, girls, I want you to get those notes that you made earlier, just put in front of you at some place. And I'm going to give you a sort of a lightning tour, really, round the emotional freedom technique. Now, it works on those meridians which I talked about, which carry an invisible layer of energy. It's like an electromagnetic charge. Some people call it a kinetic type energy. And what it does is it travels through the meridians and it affects certain parts of the brain. And particularly with the ones that we are going to be working with, it affects the amygdala and the part of the brain, the limbic brain, which stores emotion. Now, the amygdala has a high, what we call cortisol tag on it. And so anything from the past that has been tagged with fear, got a cortisol tag on it, it will be residing in the amygdala. And as you tap, what it does, as we combine the tapping with thinking, it will send a signal to the amygdala, which starts to regulate it. So very, very quickly, people can feel very differently and much calmer about things that always before felt uncomfortable. So what I'd love you to do is just to learn the tapping points, and even if you do already know them, just come along with me. So I'd like you to just start. So tap the top of your head, and then we've got 3 points around our eyes, and one is right on the beginning of the eyebrow. And we're going to go all the way around to the side of the eye, and then all the way around the occipital point underneath the eye, underneath our nose, on the bit of the chin that sticks out. And then we've got a point just where our collarbone's here. And then we've got just about 2 inches below and about a little bit in. So we've got that. You'll naturally find it if you just swing your arms up like that. And then under your armpits on the bra line for men, we just say it's about 6 or 7 inches down, so there. And then we're going to be working on our hands. So it's on the outside of the thumb and then on the top of each of those fingers. So let's just quickly run through those again. Top of the head. 3 points around the eye. And don't worry if you miss one out or you can't quite remember it, or EFT, the emotional freedom technique, is super, super generous in the sense of it's very flexible. So you're still going to be sending that signal out, even if you miss a point or you're chatting away, tapping on this point and you forget the others and you go straight to your hands. It doesn't matter. There we go. And then what I'd like you to do is to think about that block that you had. Think about that block. Do we need the slide up for this, Naomi, or shall we just freewheel with it? And the next one? No? Okay, it doesn't matter. So what I would love you to do is to yeah, you can take that down, Naomi. Sorry, I thought there was I was getting mixed up with the slides. So what I would love you to do is to take that single block that you thought about just a few minutes ago, well, about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour ago now, isn't it? Time's whizzing by. And I would like you to just to follow me. So I want you to start, and we're going to tap this point of our finger here. And as we're just doing this, it's just beginning to get your system used to the EFT, the tapping. And I want you to think of that block and say in your head, if you say out loud, if you possibly can, if you or other people are nearby, then just say it in your head. But I'm hoping that you can say it out loud. I want you to just very simply say, even though I, and then I want you to state the problem that it is. So it might be, even though when I went to do a live yesterday, I just felt really anxious. I want you to try and say it in very specific times. So it could be, even though, for instance, Emma, it might be, even though I just can't really talk to other people about my new qualification, even though I'm really proud of it. I just feel nervous. So just say something specific. It's much better than to say, I feel a bit blocked about moving on with my business. It's harder to get to stuff like that. So think of it in a very specific term. And we're just going to tap here. And we're going to go, even though I, and then you say what the problem is. And there might be another part of it. So we're going to say, and when I try to, I feel. So just fill in some of those blanks. And then we're going to go, but I love and accept myself anyway. And then I'm going to lead this as we tap the points, but I want you to fill in with your words and what's meaningful and related to your problem. I just feel this way. I don't mean to. I know that I've got gifts and I know that I can make a difference to people. But when I fill in the blank, I just feel, fill in the blank. I just feel, and just as we go round the points, girls, just think of how you feel. Think of the feelings. What was it like when you thought of trying to talk to your friend about what you're doing? What's it like when you try to take another opportunity within the hypnobirthing? What is it when for some of you, it might be that you've worked with people who are traumatized and you were really fat out of your depth or out of your comfort zone. So just talk about the problem. We're just going to go around once more. And then what I want you to do is, as you're thinking about it, I want you now to think of saying to yourself or in your mind, when I think of, or when I went to, whatever the thing is, and then state the emotion. I felt jealous, I felt angry. It might have been when you were scrolling through and you saw someone who'd been doing hypnobirthing for ages, and you felt like, oh, I'm never going to be like that, or felt self-doubt or anything like that. I felt, and name the emotion, and then I want you to just be quiet within yourself as you tap this point here, and just locate where that feeling is in your body. So it might be, I feel that anxiety in my tummy. I feel that anxiety in my chest or in my legs. And then in your own words, I want you to describe how it feels. So it might feels like a rock in the pit of my tummy. Feels like a shivering light in my tummy. Feels like a brick in my guts. Describe it as we tap, and we're going to just keep going round as you describe that feeling. Whereabouts is it in the body? And you might find that it moves around. So what was in your tummy might come up to your chest. What was in your chest might go down to your arms. You're doing really well. And then I want you to take a deep breath. Blow it out like you're blowing a candle. Move your body a bit. Stretch up. Roll those shoulders back. Take a deep breath. Blow a candle out. And I want you to think where that, where you scaled. I know some of you were 8s, 5, 6, 7, and 8s. And just doing that tapping, just let us know through the chat what it's come down to. Now, when I do sessions with people, they're about an hour or so long. So this is just an introduction, but hopefully we'll have had a few people bring that initial feeling down. So let me know what comes up on the chat, Naomi.
I shall, Jilly, after the 10-second delay. Would you like me to get Alana on now?
Alana on, yeah, please, yeah.
Alana, are you ready? Now is your time to click on the link and you will appear magically in my studio. And then when Jilly is ready, I can bring you onto the screen. But let's get you all lined up, ready to go for a live demonstration. We're so excited about this. It's a little bit experimental with technology.
What I was thinking, Naomi, is as I'm doing this, just in view of timing, maybe if you can just watch the chat and get back to people, see where they're at on those levels. And if guys, you've gone a little bit higher, keep tapping till it comes down. It will do. Just for a few minutes, just keep every sort of couple of minutes, stop, take a bit of a shake, but you will find that comes down for all, well, hopefully for all of you.
Yeah, keep us informed on the chat. I cannot respond to your comments by typing because we're on 2 different systems, but I can give you some support after Jilly's finished as well. But we are here for you. Give us the feedback. Let us know how your tapping's going.
Clock, it's 1:22:22.
Oh, here we go. Right, we have Alana. Oh, we've shifted. Sadie has gone from an 8 to a 3. Oh, Sadie, I'm very excited to know what it was that you were working on. Now we have Alana here. So I am Alana, if you're ready, I'm gonna beam you onto the screen with Jilly, and I am, there we go. Welcome. Woo, 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 woo.
Oh, were you from the States?
Yes, I live in North Carolina.
Oh, wow. You got it a lot warmer. We're in the middle of a blizzard here in the UK.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry, I meant to remove myself.
Here I am.
Oh, so
yeah, it's nice here. It's like it's really nice here.
Don't tell me you've got sunshine, please.
We do.
Thanks. Even though I'm not in Carolina.
Yes.
Okay, Alana. So I'm just very conscious of keeping within. We're going to go over time, but I would really love to support you in something, any of the blocks. Thank you so much for volunteering. You're incredibly brave. You don't know me. And I just, really deeply respect and appreciate you standing up for yourself. It's a really big deal.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So tell me what you feel is the one thing that if you could do would make a really big difference to your business, Alana.
Well, I think I'm a little torn now. I mean, I think the original thing I was thinking that I really needed to do was just be a little bit better about being like, you know, jumping online. Like I'm really uncomfortable with social media. So I would say like that's my big block. And so I think, you know, being more comfortable, like putting myself out there on social media, but it's also like figuring out a way to do that and it still feels like me.
Yeah. Okay. So would you say that let's just go into tapping and we're going to tap and talk.
Okay.
Is that okay? And
Yes.
then we'll find out exactly where we're going to work. So we're going to go even though. So follow me. But what I want you to do, Alana, is to just I'll lead it because you've probably have you done any tapping EFT before?
No, never.
So I'm going to lead it, and then but I want you to change the words to suit you. Okay.
Okay.
So the other thing, Alana, I just need to give you the heads up for is that sometimes if we got a little one there or a doggy.
It was my phone ringing and then my little one's on the floor. So I cut my phone on silent.
Yeah, don't worry. It's absolutely all is good, all welcome. So sometimes when we start to work on our blocks, and I can, you know, generally get to things quite quickly, what we can feel is sometimes about 1 in 10 people, something like that, will feel quite a rush of emotion.
Okay.
So if you feel that, it's absolutely fine. All it is the brain beginning to shift the way that it works. So
Okay.
if you feel that, it generally doesn't last for more than about 4 or 5 seconds. But the important thing is to keep tapping.
Okay.
Okay. If we stop tapping, it'll stop where it is. But if we keep tapping, it'll continue to process what it needs to. So we say, even though I started off by thinking that I was a little bit concerned about just showing up for my social media.
I started out thinking that I was a little bit concerned about showing up for my social media.
And correct anything that is not right for you. I feel a bit anxious about doing it.
I feel a bit anxious about doing it.
But then talking to Jilly, I think maybe it's about being me.
But in talking to Jilly, I think it's maybe more about being me.
Either way, I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
So we're going to just tap through. And you're a hypnobirther, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. And have you been doing it very long, Alana?
This will be my second year.
Second year. So I just want you to think of those two things as we tap and think about your business, whether it's showing up truly as you or whether it's just getting on and doing the lives and making the what is
it's really showing up truly as me. Yeah, that's really important to me. It's really important to me.
So would you say that there is some doubt or some reservation about what is there? Do you already feel, is there something that stops you being you, or is it just that you really want to?
I think it's I think it is this sort of sense of like perfectionism and needing to have it all together. And so I know I'm like amazing at what I do. The clients I've worked with have really like benefited and love it. But I think there's a block for me in terms of like, I think on a certain level that I feel like I'm not good enough.
Yeah. And so if you were to put that in a nutshell about the one thing that you could do that would really, let me come at this another way. So start here again. So even though I know that I'm really good at what I do.
Even though I know I'm really good at what I do.
I don't always believe it.
I don't always believe it.
And when I think of that,
I feel frustrated, anxious, sad.
And on a level of emotion, say sadness or frustration, if 10 is the worst and 1's fine, whereabouts are you going when you just take a moment now? Think of you just really showing up as you, claiming your gifts, but you just can't seem to. Where does it? If you think of a moment, can you think of a time recently when you felt that?
So what number would it be?
Can you think of a time when
Yeah.
that has shown up for you?
I think like just recently, and just in terms of trying to like post and
Okay.
like talk about my business and just feeling,
So
I don't
if
know.
you think of the time that you've gone to do a post and talk about your business and you've just felt that frustration or sadness or difficult emotion, what level would you put that on when you think about a recent specific time that you've tried to and you've just not been able to?
I'd probably say like a 7,
That is 7. So even though
even though
something, that doubt in me,
that doubt in me
makes me feel quite uncomfortable when I go to do my social media.
makes me feel quite uncomfortable when I go to do social media.
I felt that the other day. I felt that.
I felt that the other day.
But I love and accept myself anyway.
But I love and accept myself anyway.
I feel it.
I feel it.
There's something in me.
There's something in me.
It's a doubt.
It's a doubt.
Frustration.
Frustration.
I felt it recently.
I felt it recently.
I know I'm good at what I do.
I know I'm good at what I do.
But it was there.
But it was there.
Stopping me.
Stopping me.
From showing up fully for the people I can make a difference to.
For showing up fully for the people I can make a difference to.
Don't know quite where it comes from.
I don't know quite where it comes from.
But it's there.
But it's there.
Holding me.
Holding me.
Stopping me.
Stopping me.
Being the full expression of me.
From being the full expression of me.
Showing others my light.
Showing others my light.
And when I think of what happened recently.
And when I think of what happened recently.
That sadness and frustration.
That sadness and frustration.
I feel it in my.
I feel it in my chest.
In my chest. And is it sadness and frustration in your chest?
Yeah, it's like a heaviness. It's like a heaviness that I'm feeling, and like a tightness.
There's a heaviness and tightness in my chest.
There's a heaviness and tightness in my chest.
All that sadness. All that sadness.
All that sadness.
Frustration.
Frustration.
It's a tightness in my chest.
It's a tightness in my chest.
Is it all over your chest or just a tiny part?
No, it's mostly here.
It's just there.
It's just there.
And I want you to really tune into that feeling. In your chest.
My mom keeps calling me back. Sorry. Okay.
Don't worry. It's there.
It's there.
And it's safe to let it go.
And it's safe to let it go.
Safe to be me.
Safe to be me.
All those people that I don't know yet.
All those people that I don't know yet.
Those souls yet to be born.
Those souls yet to be born.
Need what's in me.
Need what's in me.
And my light.
And my light.
So I'm choosing to let that go.
So I'm choosing to let that go.
And trust.
And trust.
On my pathway.
On my pathway.
That I'm right where I need to be.
That I'm right where I need to be.
So I can post.
So I can post.
Not everybody will like it.
Not everybody will like it.
But some will.
But some will. And the right people will like it.
Yeah, that's right. The right people will. They're feeling. So I just want you to think about maybe just writing a post or just doing a short live.
Okay.
And just think about doing it while we're tapping. Sharing your light with your words.
Okay.
Just think about doing it. Nothing wrong. Imagine in your home or wherever you work from. And sharing who you are. And then we're going to take a deep breath. And just close your eyes for a moment, if you can, if it feels safe to do so. And just for about 20 seconds, just feel into sharing you on the post. And just tune into your heart or your body. And just ask from the heart of you, what's the first thing I should write about? What's the first thing I should talk about? And see what comes up. What's the most useful thing for me to share tomorrow? And let me know what comes through.
The power of hypnobirthing in my own life, like not just the birth, but beyond.
Yeah, there you go. So when you think of doing that now, tomorrow or the next day, whenever, come down to from a 7.
I feel a lot lighter for sure and feeling less anxious. So I would say probably like a 5.
Yeah, great. Well, we work for about 10 minutes. So what I recommend that you do is 2 things, Alana, is firstly to just give yourself a really big round of applause for doing this, for putting yourself up here. And I would do a little bit more tapping.
Okay.
Thinking of doing it and see what comes up in the body, and just thinking about what comes up in the body and just saying it out loud. That's all you're going to do, saying it out loud. And then when you've done that, some lovely hypnobirthing, the deep breathing, and then just or the even breathing, I should say.
Okay.
And then just while you're doing that breath, imagine just doing the things that meant to you as being true to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Everybody silently across the matrix of time and space, let's give Alana a really big thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Over to you, Naomi.
Oh, thank you, Alana. I'm gonna thank you. Let us know how that post as well. We all want to see the post now as well.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Oh, beautiful. So we are going to run a little bit over on time. So thank you for everybody that's staying with us. We want to round up and tell you a little bit more about EFT and also offer you an incredible, and when I say incredible, opportunity to come and bring some emotional freedom technique into your life to transform the way that you do business, the way that you're for your own personal development and your client work as well. But I hope now that we have taken you through all of the blocks that have got in the way so you can really understand now this extra layer. So your hypnobirthing is amazing. It's incredible. It's super powerful. But for those of you that have ever craved wanting to take your clients on a deeper journey to really shift the stuff that's holding them back, then EFT could be that extra depth that you're looking for. We really want you to understand how invisible early life experiences impact that glass shield. So we hope that you can all give us a big nod on the comments if these things have been achieved. As well, we want to take you beyond the mind and body and into the realms of quantum energy and your quantum field, to know that the work goes beyond here, this physical form that we are in. And now hopefully you understand why emotions impact. I know you've got a great understanding that as ever, but how emotions really are the key. When we understand how to shift and change emotions, then we can get the results that our clients really truly deserve, as well as becoming more of a magnet and really revolutionizing the way that you do business more confidently, credibly, and increasing your competence to know that using EFT, you could deal with anything that your client brings to you. So, Jilly, do you want to round up those 4 dimensions of transformation, and then we will extend our incredible invite out to our Calm Birth School community, because we have got something super juicy, super sexy, really exciting for you in just a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So the emotional freedom technique, it works on every level. It works on the energetic, the physical, the conscious, and the subconscious level. So it doesn't matter what sort of block that you have. And what you saw me doing with Alana there was just like a tiny percentage of what we could do. Remember that our sessions are normally much longer, but it will, any of those blocks, it will enable you to push through. So we will be able to push through on the energy. We'll be able to push through, and we will be able to get much more heart-brain coherence through our physical body, much more self-regulation, be able to regulate the what we call the vagal tone of the body, which really helps people feel more relaxed, more creative, more in tune, more spontaneous, and creative. And also with the conscious and the subconscious mind, the EFT will get to any of those spaces and allow the cognitive mind, along with the energy field, to work in a much more cohesive and creative way.
It's powerful stuff. As Alana just demonstrated how quickly you can shift things in a very short time as well. So now, you're all been called here this evening, or wherever you are in the world at whatever time you watch this, because you're recognizing that you want to expand your hypnobirthing business. And what Jilly and I are recognizing from talking to our clients and being in the world of transformation, what is really needed right now for you to expand your business is for, as Alana so beautifully has led us into, is for you to show up in your full self. Because it may seem like a crowded market, you may feel like you're not enough, you may feel like the imposter, but this is not true. You all have your place. There are clients ready and waiting for all of you, and in order to attract them in that magnet heart of yours, you need to stand out as your full self. And EFT can help you to work through your own personal blocks to be able to do that. You want to have more confidence to be able to clear the blocks in your client work as well. So they've got a lot of challenges. Those of us based here in the UK, there is a lot of worry, I know, about NHS and strikes and budgets. It's a really challenging time for your clients, and we want to be able to help them work through that as well. And we want to be able to trust in your uniqueness, because as we've already explained, when you are authentic to yourself, you're going to get the very best dream clients that you've ever could possibly imagine. And we want to help you to be able to help clients who bring you all kinds of issues that might not even appear to be pregnancy or birth related. We want to be able to help you. Perhaps their partner's depressed, or perhaps they're suffering from bereavement, be able to deal with grief, be able to deal with things beyond what traditionally is encompassed in birth preparation, and help you use your time more effectively. Can we recognize the modern life is very, very demanding on your time? And when we start to work through the blocks to our time management using EFT, you get to be even more productive than you already are. And EFT can really help you to unlock the blocks to all of these ways that you can grow your business in 2023, which leads us beautifully to invite you all very personally, those of you here live and those of you watching on replay, to come and train in professional EFT with Jilly and I. We have a package which goes way beyond what you're about to listen to here with Jilly, the emotional freedom technique training, which is the traditional levels 1 and 2, We have ramped it up with steroids, lady. It is like out of the stratosphere what I'm about to share with you. Jilly's going to talk you through, first of all, what EFT training looks like across the 3 days. We have upgraded everything within this training, and it is what is offered in many of the places, but we've recognized that it's not enough to create the most competent, confident, credible practitioners that we want to work with, specifically in the birthing industry. So I'm going to get Jilly to explain to you what the 3-day training looks like, what you're going to learn, how you're going to transform, and then I'm going to tell you all about the juicy bits. Well, this is juicy. And Jilly's juicy. Come on, Jilly, tell us.
Absolutely. So I've been doing this training now for about 12 years and absolutely love it. And I've seen many transformations just on the lives and online courses. Just in those 3 days, people changed and got rid of stuff they've been carrying around for flipping decades. So day one is all about the basics of EFT. So at the end of day one, you'll be able to use it very much on yourself. So for instance, if you find yourself procrastinating or self-sabotaging, you'll understand at the end of day one just how to use it on yourself. Day two is more about the specific technique. So if you've got a mom who's had a dreadful home birth beforehand, if you've had miscarriages, child bereavement, just whatever the issue was, infertility, and then whatever the thing is, you'll be able to work with that woman and the partner in order to be able to facilitate the best birth possible. We can't always say 100%, can we? You know that, I know that. So what we can do is get rid of any obvious traumas. You'll also be able to find the invisible ones that I was talking about. When you know something's not quite right, you will be able to not just use your fantastic hypnotherapy scripts and help them through that, but you will be able to go so deep so that they are prepared in a way where you might not have been able to get those little invisible traumas or the bigger ones beforehand. And then obviously if a person has terrible birth and they come out really awful, then you can just deal with that and take the trauma away, and that changes lives on its own. You get a woman in early days who's traumatized, her child feels that. We know that, right? And obviously then you'll be able to use that for other people. You won't be licensed at this stage. It is an accreditation process. And then on day 3, we do much more of the psychology-based stuff to support the EFT. It's a very, very practical course, so you get to do it and experience it at least once a day each way.
Beautiful. Do you want to mention a little bit about the Beyond Belief system as well, Jilly? This is a development.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't bring that in. Yeah, we created something called the Beyond Belief method. And what we know is if someone particularly has had trauma there for a very long time, they got used to a certain way of doing things. So we know that by helping the neurons to wire and fire in a particular way with particular things, what it does is it enables somebody not only to be able to EFT to peel off the layers of the past trauma or the unhelpful beliefs, but the Beyond Belief helps them to formulate a pattern of being that then the brain thinks it's already done. So it completely transcends the matrix of time and space. It doesn't matter. And even things that happened a long time ago, which were really, really awful, you can get rid of the trauma, but you won't necessarily get rid of the limiting belief. Because let's take the case of early abuse or something like that. You might take the trauma level out of it. So they can look back and think, God, that was, but they will still have the limiting belief that they weren't good enough or they weren't in control or they should have done this. And with the Beyond the Belief method, you can literally transcend the matrix of time and space and change the way people feel about the past, but also change the way that they feel about going forward. So it can be safe to earn a lot more money. It can be safe to, like Alana there, it can be safe to go and shine your light in whatever, that's a generalization, but in whatever way that means for you.
Yeah, thank you, Jilly. So the 3-day professional training will enable you, just to recap, will enable you to become accredited and to get insurance as an EFT practitioner. But we don't want our experience to end there. We want you to feel like the most confident, the most competent, and the most credible practitioner, so that you stand out in a busy industry as somebody who is able to create transformation at levels that nobody else can. And in order to do that, we recognize that you need some additional layers of support and service. So we've taken the 3-day training and we've ramped it right up. Jilly has an incredible background in psychotherapy. It's where myself and Susie have both trained with Jilly, and she's put together 6 of her incredible masterclasses around depression, anxiety, PTSD, phobias, the very common but more complex mental health, emotional health, physical health challenges that your clients will be suffering from, so that you can confidently get in and deal it from a place of real competence, because you understand mental health. Within those psychotherapy masterclasses as well, we are creating an additional extra for you guys, for everyone in the birthing world, on how to use EFT specifically for birthing challenges, early parenting challenges, and feeding challenges as well. Teach you how to take the tools and techniques and craft them for both that particular arena as well. Because what we recognize is that EFT is being massively underutilized in the birthing world, and we could be making even greater impact by using this tool as well. And this is our call to you to come and join us, so that we can create that even deeper impact in the birthing world. So you're going to get a real psychotherapy based training as well on top of the EFT. And then we want to support you through the process of becoming qualified and getting out there and taking this gift, this EFT phenomena, which is the global phenomenon. It is EFT. It is on really being very, very talked about now, because it's having such success rates. And we want to give you regular check-in points that you can come back to us with questions, or I've been trying to the client, I'm not quite understanding this. Done this, how would you do this differently? I'm getting really stuck when I get to this point. What do I say here? We want to be there offering you that level of support that no other EFT training course delivers. Very often you'll go and train, and then once you've trained, you'll be signed off, and that's it. There's no support system. We want to create a support system. I know that you get that at Calm Birth School. It's the level of service that you are accustomed to. We want to continue that level of service in the service that we deliver too. Now, this is the very, very exciting piece of our invitation to you, because all of those things are going to make a massive impact to your life. But where we know the missing puzzle to personal development and business expansion is doing the inner work personally ourselves. So Jilly and I have been inspired. We kind of had this download that what people need to be able to make breakthroughs in all areas of their life is the self-mastery piece. It's great to learn the tools and techniques, but unless we are embodying it every day in our own lives, then, this is how we get fast quantum expansion in our business lives, for our clients, and in our personal lives too. So Self-Mastery Magic is a 7-week program. It's completely separate to the EFT. It's a whole other course. It's run online, and that we're going to take you through the 7 portals, including confidence, including courage, including commitment. And these are energetic activations. So this is not the kind of masterclass led course. We're going to learn a load of cognitive things. This is an energy activation course. So it'll be very different to anything you've ever done before. It's a doing course. It's about helping you create the habits to be the master of your emotions, so that you don't get derailed, so that you stay on track, so that you're able to take action, so that you show up as your true self by using 28 energy activations, which are included across the 7 portals. There is a lot more to it. And what we're going to do is send you a video on the follow-up email to this masterclass. So if you want to know more about Self-Mastery Magic alongside the EFT, then we've got a 14-minute video which is going to explain it all in a lot more depth. So if we've piqued your interest, which I hope we have, if any of this is resonating, you're thinking, yes, please, look out for the upcoming email. So as you will see here, that value comes in about £2,500 if you're here in the UK. But what we are offering now, because this is the first time that we've put this bundle together, Julia's been teaching EFT, as she says, for over 16 years in thousands of people, but we want to upgrade the way that it's delivered. And so we have this juicy, very sexy, really invitational, one-time only offer. It's never ever going to be at this level. I just want to make that super clear. When we've been showing it to people were going like, what are you doing? It's because we want to make this an easy yes for you. So we're offering in-person training in West Sussex, in the UK, at the end of February, across the 3 days. To do your 3 days EFT training. Or if that is geographically impossible for you because of whatever, wherever you are based in the world, or your childcare situation, or you just can't.
Or they're enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, they're enjoying the sunshine. Then we have here an online offer. We're going to be repeating the course the following weekend, but doing it all via virtual so that you can beam in for wherever you are in the world. So that creates us an opportunity on a global scale. The investment is ridiculous. If you're paying for it, it's just £860. 2 payments of 440 is £885. Just to recap, you are essentially getting 2 courses for a 1 investment level. You're getting a personal expansion experience and a professional accreditation and qualification. So that is super exciting. And there is something even more exciting that we decided to add in very last minute today. We were like, how can we make this so irresistible? We want to get EFT out into the world. And Gillian and I thought back to when I was a hypnobirthing teacher, because I was not a hypnotherapist alongside. And I remember my craving. I wanted to be able to offer my clients more of a bespoke service, maybe create my own scripts and my own workshops, but I didn't feel confident enough to. What we've got for you, especially for Calm Birth School, for the first and only time ever, is sorry, Gillian, about that slide.
Oh my God!
You were in the middle of being very dynamic. We want to also gift you, as a fast action bonus, for anyone who books Friday UK time before 9 p.m, Gilly's acclaimed Learn Hypnosis online course, which is worth £299. Now, we know that you all know the basics of hypnosis. This is going to take you into a foundational level so that you can really learn much more about, and I'm going to pass that over to Gilly once she's got over her shock of her karate chop.
You're in trouble.
I knew you were going to say that, but I had to go for a lot of shots to try. You were so serious in your presentation. You know, serious stuff. So I'm going to hand over to you, Gilly, so you can tell the guys a bit more about how amazing your Learn on Hypnosis online course is.
Oh, sick. God almighty.
Tell us. Come on.
Yeah, I've been teaching this course for nearly 20 years. In various guises, obviously in the beginning all live, and then later on online and live. And we've literally put thousands of people through it over the years. And it's based on three main things. It's a very, very practical course. But what it does is it takes the mystery about hypnosis. I mean, you guys already understand the basics of hypnosis, but we talk about the brainwave states. We talk about, you know, the trance state, the REM state, how it works. We talk about how the hypnotic state is very prevalent, not only in good states, but in things like depression and anxiety and addictions as well. But basically what we do, we build hypnosis up. So we build up your language, we build up your knowledge of what it is, we build up what takes people into hypnosis, into everyday trance states. And we build step by step, and at every step there's an exercise. And you do that. So it's a tell, show, do method of teaching. So I will talk to you a little bit about it online. There'll be a live demo. There'll be some supporting information and notes and just things to look through. Obviously, with the language patterns, there'll be lots of different examples and chance for you to practice. And then there's ways in which we suggest ways in which that you can actually practice that particular step. And then you move on to the next one as well. So as I've said, we've trained thousands of people in this way. And it's I just know that when we've taught anybody like Naomi who did hypnobirthing, when they learnt this, it just took their hypnosis to another level. They could write their own scripts or even adapt their scripts, you know, so it's really personal, because all hypnosis is really self-hypnosis. And when you understand what takes somebody into that hypnotic state, you can adapt any script to make it really, really even extra hypnotic for the particular person that you're working with.
Yeah, that extra effectiveness. So Jilly and I are totally available for questions for anyone that wants to hang on, talk to us a little bit more, but we do realize we've run way over time. So we just want to really, really thank you. If you've got your pen and papers available now, this is where you can find out more. If you want to know more about that training, head over to Julie's website /EFT training. If you'd like to talk to either of us in person, this is how you can book a call, and we'd really happily chat to you, talk you through the trainings. We both offer one-to-one services as well. If you're thinking, I don't actually want to do some training, but I've got some stuff I want to shift, you know, that's totally a possibility. And we'd love you to stay connected with everything that we do over on Instagram, so that we can keep an eye on what you're doing too. Like, we love building connections also, so do connect with us over on Instagram. There has been a couple of questions here, Julie, which I'm going to read out, and do feel free to add some more in, peeps. We're here, available.
Bring them on.
You need to hop off, we totally get that, and do look out for your emails, because we'll be rounding everything up so that you've got it all in a nice summary, because it's getting late here in the UK. So our gorgeous Alana is asking whether we've got any other possible dates for the online version, because she'll be traveling. So absolutely, won't we, Jilly, in the future?
Yeah, definitely. We'll put together, but probably in about, well, we don't know. I mean, the thing is, if people are interested, let us know. I mean, that's the thing. But we were looking at it at one in about 3 months' time, I think, weren't we?
Yeah. What we'll do, Alana, is give you a direct. I've got your email now, so we'll start a conversation and see when it suits, and then we can see how the demand is after we fill our first virtual EFT training. So it's going to be very exciting. As I say, the offer invitation investment level will never be repeated again, because essentially getting 3 courses for one investment level. So we're really, really excited about that. It's an opportunity to rip our arms off with. Just want to check in with Sadie as well. Sadie, are you still with us, my love? You said that after you got it down from an 8 to a 3, and then she was feeling paralyzed when she was thinking about social media. She was having a limited belief that she fizzled out, and she doesn't often follow through after starting things. And then as she, like 5 or 10 minutes later, she came back and just said that after she typed that out, it came up a bit. We submerged. So Sadie, we recommend just carry on tapping always, and it will come down eventually. So just keep those on tapping on those points. But Sadie, if you are here, then give us a bit of a later update of whether you've brought that down or whether you're feeling comfortable now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Sadie, what it very often, you know, it's like you saw with Alana there, you know, it's presenting in social media, but actually it's something else that's just bubbling away. So, you know, you sort of worked on that a little bit, but as Naomi said, just keep tapping on it, moving, and it will absolutely shift, even if it feels a little bit uncomfortable at first. But any queries, any questions, please don't sit on those questions, or any concerns, just let us know. There's nothing that we won't have seen before.
Yeah, so dive into the Facebook group, especially if you're watching us on replay. We'd love to know what's coming up for you. We'd love to know where you started out, where you've got down to, how you found the experience. Anybody that's still on live, if you want to give us some feedback about how you found tonight, we love a little bit of feedback, you know, a bit of external validation still going on here, even though we're fully in charge of our inner power. We like a little bit of external validation as well. Who doesn't? Human beings. So we love a little bit of feedback. Luna's definitely interested, so we will absolutely, Alana, sorry, we'll absolutely give you an email, and we'll start some dialogue about how we can make that happen. So, Jilly, what would you like to finish up with this evening if we don't get any questions in? How would you like to round up this kind of supersonic couple of hours? Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, it went by very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for people showing up, really, because I think, you know, it's very easy just to carry on as is, but the times that we're in are demanding quick change. They're demanding that we move with the times. And I think anybody who shows up there's something in your being which is just calling for more. So I just want to say a huge amount of love to you guys on your journey. I'm so proud of everybody that does the hypnobirthing. I know firsthand of the difference that it makes. And if I don't get to connect with you again, good luck on your journey. But I'd really love it if you just jumped into the Facebook and just let us, just come and say hi to us. And if you are thinking of training with us, this offer is something that is, it will never ever be repeated. So.
Yeah, we're realizing the madness of it all, so take advantage of our madness.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I echo everything Jilly said. It's been an incredible couple of hours together. We'd love to stay connected. We'd love to train with you, and we'd love to watch you grow and grow as you work through more and more of those blocks and step into your fullness, folk. Thank you so much for joining us.
And it's about remembering who you really are, my lovelies. Remembering about, who you really are beyond all that you've picked up along life's way.
Yeah, I'm going to finish off with one of your metaphors, Jilly, that you taught me. Actually, I like what EFT really does, and this is something I tell my clients all the time, is clear the graffiti off of our wall of life. That graffiti comes from unasked for, from teachers, parenting, life, society, systems, and we get to clean it all off and get to really step into our trueness when we use EFT to detox all of that stuff from our systems. So thank you, Jilly. You're a major inspiration to me, and I'm sure everyone feels as honoured to spend time with you as I do. Thank you.
Bless you.
It's a pleasure.
All right, my friend. Bye-bye, my lovelies.
Good night, everybody. Bye.